Please catch Share Online Monday to Friday weekdays on all social media platforms.
Bengeza kwaye phuhlisa ishishini lakho nathi apha eShare Online. Sebenzisa ezi nkcukacha zilandelayo ukusifumana. 078 281 0681 okanye usithumelele email ku ads@shareonline.co.za.
Depression and suicide are serious issues that affect many people. If you're feeling alone or hopeless, know that you are not alone. There are people who care about you and want to help. If you're struggling with depression or suicidal thoughts, there are resources available to help you. The South African Depression and Anxiety Group offers a 24-hour toll-free emergency helpline for suicide crisis support. Call them on 0800 567 567. Remember, you're not alone. There is hope and help is available.
You know you want to join the Creative Corner every Tuesday, where we vibe with the coolest creators.
But nah, you are too busy catching up on Umkosi, celebrity news and the headliners on the Trusted Talk Wednesdays at 2 p.m.
Embrace your feminine side with the ladies of Sisterhood, Thursdays at 11 a.m., talking about everything women go through.
Join Amachita, Amahrotmane, the broskies of Sotra, fixing the country, one topic at a time. Thursdays at 2 p.m.
Get ready to spice up your sex life on the 8th hour every Thursday at 8 p.m., where we get down and dirty with the hottest topics. It's all things sex.
Start the weekend early with the feel-good vibes of Kasi Lifestyle Show Fridays at 2 p.m. Put on your dancing shoes, feel the music, and connect with the best artist Mzansi has to offer.
And if you're still not satisfied, you can learn a thing or two about living wild, young, and free with Ama2K Saturdays at 11 a.m.
And for all you bookworms, relax your Saturday with On Writing at 2 p.m., where you can learn from the best writers and storytellers.
All this and more on Share Radio, the place to be.
Stay informed with the latest news on Mzansi affairs every Tuesday at Share Radio, brought to you by Share Online. This is the time.
Indeed, it is the right time to be right here on Mzansi Affairs. My name is Moketi Maimani, and I will be your host for today's show and episode. And I am not joined, I'm not alone, by the way, on the studio. I am joined by two gentlemen, one who is here in the studio and one who is online on a phone call. But let me start with you, Mr. E2. How are you, sir?
Good, thanks. How are you, Mr. Mo?
I'm very well, man.
Good, man. Thanks for having me on yet another interesting episode of Mzansi Affairs. Good morning to our listeners. Good morning, South Africa. Good morning, Share Online family. And good morning, Mr. JP on the line. Thank you.
Indeed. Over to you, Mr. JP. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning, good morning to our listeners and our viewers. It's only God, guys. I'm happy to be part of the show. Last week it was bad, but I'm here and we continue as usual. So it's God's grace. Let's have a good show, guys.
Indeed. Thank you so much. And we hope everyone who's out there, they're taking care of themselves and they're looking forward to be with us until the end of the show. As we're going to be discussing, the updates and developing stories on, the headlines that we've been having on the past weeks right here on Share Online. Please do not forget to join our social media platforms. We are Share Online on each and every social media platform. Right now, you can join us. We are live on Facebook. We are live on YouTube. We are also live on TikTok. If you want to send your voice note in right now into the show so that you can give us what do you really think, you can dial us on 061-524-7758, 061-524-7758. Without wasting any time, gentlemen, let me just get into our headlines and what we are going to be discussing today on the show. So, Eskom is warning the public against illegal electricity connections, highlighting the risk of network overload, which could lead to load reduction. In few words, without getting into deep, what is your thoughts when it comes to illegal electricity in our community?
Izinyoga has been an issue that's been affecting us for a while now, years if not more. So it's something that has caused huge problems for our local power provider.
Yeah.
electric provider. I mean, sorry. So we know that it's something that has to be dealt with and solved, because if not, it is affecting members of the community who have not bridged their electricity.
Yeah.
So it is something that has to be sorted out before it causes major unresolvable problems.
Yeah, definitely. Mr. JP, your thoughts, please, around the whole issue of illegal electricity in different townships in South Africa.
I think we need to revert more back a little bit. We need to get to history where these things come from. Because remember 1994, if I'm not quite sure, when the ANC need to take over, they promised everyone for free electricity, free water, free education, and all that. So the major problems that made these things to happen today is when they promise people. Immediately immediately when ANC get into power, people thought everything is free, and then they started to live it like that. And the other things, of course, is technicians, people that are working for Eskom, people that are working for municipalities and all that, and any electricians, you understand? So it gets to a point where people, they're owing big bills where they're not going to be able to pay again. So that causing a major problems to people that they have to bypass electricity. And then when you see your neighbors goes years by, like I've got 6 years not paying electricity and all that, and then you're still paying, it's painful. While the electricity is it's expensive and it's causing problems. So it cost a lot of people to bypass. So I'm glad that now we're having this conversation and we are tagging it, and it's affecting everyone. Of course, it's been affecting for long, but now it's out there. Let's get down and discuss about it.
Yeah, definitely. Coming back to it. So if you are watching right now and you're listening, do make sure that you stay with us, and because we would like to hear your view and your thoughts, around the illegal electricity that Eskom is posing on its consumers. And then the next headline that we're going to be speaking about, which is the second one, is Eskom is actually pointing fingers at its own employees for allowing consumers to breach their electricity and connect illegally. How true is this?
It is true, Mr. Mo. So it's obvious that some of the staff of Eskom is the ones that are helping residents to bypass their electricity. They have this thing they call go slow, which they work on the meter in a way that is not gonna deplete your units as normal as it should, but it's gonna go down slowly. And then that itself gives the customer more time and more use of the electricity, more than what they pay for. So it's only the technicians of Eskom who can do that, because you cannot have someone out of Eskom to come and do that for you. They don't know how the meters are programmed and how they been structured. So it is indeed some of the Eskom staff members who are doing this thing.
Definitely. Mr. JP, your thoughts, please, on how true it is, that Eskom is pointing fingers at its own employees for allowing consumers to breach electricity and connect illegally.
Definitely more. It's one of the things that we know that it's happening, because those are the only technicians know what's really happening and transpire about the electricity, and the local municipalities technicians as well. So in most cases, there is this thing here, or like they buy a lot of electricity, more units. That one is just being hacking the system. But there is this other style which is bypassing. It means you chowing before the meter, before the electricity comes to the meter. It means you chowing straight line from municipality or Eskom. So that's how they do it. So definitely it's not anyone that can do that, only technicians or electricians, and anyone that can be teachable, you understand, to do that. So that's what's really happening.
Yeah, definitely. Also, we would like, a viewer who is watching right now, we would also like to hear, some of your views when it comes to, Eskom pointing fingers at their own employees, for connecting electricity illegally to the consumers. And then lastly, we're going to be looking at the developing stories on the Stilfontein mine, which 6 more illegal miners surfaced at the disused mines. And those miners were actually identified as the Mozambicans. So it is something that we're going to be looking at after the break, as we're going to be discussing these headlines. So please do make sure that you stay with us on all social media platforms. We are Share Online. Comment down below and tell us what do you really think, as we're going to be tackling so much and speaking about what Eskom is implementing right now, and what is it that the citizens are doing. What is the cause of the people to connect electricity illegally to cause the grid where it is? So those are the discussions that we're going to have after we came back from the break. So right now, let us take a short break, and then when we come back, we're going to discuss these headlines.
You know you want to join the Creative Corner every Tuesday, where we vibe with the coolest creators.
But nah, you are too busy catching up on Umkosi, celebrity news, and the headliners on the Trusted Talk Wednesdays at 2 p.m.
Embrace your feminine side with the ladies of Sisterhood, Thursdays at 11 a.m., talking about everything women go through.
Join Amachita, Amahrotmane, the broskies of Sotra, fixing the country, one topic at a time. Thursdays at 2 p.m.
Get ready to spice up your sex life on the 8th hour every Thursday at 8 p.m., where we get down and dirty with the hottest topics. It's all things sex.
Start the weekend early with the feel-good vibes of Kasi Lifestyle Show Fridays at 2 p.m. Put on your dancing shoes, feel the music, and connect with the best artist Mzansi has to offer.
And if you're still not satisfied, you can learn a thing or two about living wild, young, and free with Ama 2K Saturdays at 11 a.m.
And for all you bookworms, relax your Saturday with On Writing at 2 p.m., where you can learn from the best writers and storytellers.
All this and more on Share Radio, the place to be.
You're listening to Share Radio, the best online visual radio station in town. Tune in now and enjoy the best music from around the block. This is Share Radio. Depression and suicide are serious issues that affect many people. If you're feeling alone or hopeless, know that you are not alone. There are people who care about you and want to help. If you're struggling with depression or suicidal thoughts, there are resources available to help you. The South African Depression and Anxiety Group offers a 24-hour toll-free emergency helpline for suicide crisis support. Call them on 0800 567 567. Remember, you're not alone. There is hope and help is available.
Stay informed with the latest news on Mzansi Affairs every Tuesday at Share Radio, brought to you by Share Online. This is the time.
Definitely 12 minutes up until we hit 11 o'clock, and you're still watching Mzansi Affairs with me, Moeketi Maimane, joined by Mr. Itumeleng Diale and Mr. Chabulane over the phone call. Still in discussion with the headlines that we discussed before we went to the break. So please do make sure that you join us in the conversations by following us on our social media platforms. We are Share Online on each and every social media platform. Right now, we are live on YouTube, we are live on Facebook, we are also live on TikTok. So please do make sure that you leave down your comment. If you stumbled upon this conversation, please, we would like to hear your view on what we are discussing right here. So the first headline: Eskom is warning the public against illegal electricity connections, highlighting the risk of network overloading, which could lead to load reduction measures. South Africa has enjoyed 8 months without power cuts, but this could be at risk if illegal connections continue. Monde Bala, which is the Eskom Group executive, for distribution, spoke with the people from the media and explained, why this process is going on and why the issue of illegal connections need to be addressed. So I just want us to discuss, and look at the reasons why people opt for illegal connections.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure it is pretty obvious, Mr. Moore, that the electric prices have spiked so high that you get half for your value.
Yeah.
So, for example, I think last week Friday, I bought electricity for 30 rands and I only got like 13.8 units. So that's like half the money I paid
Yeah.
for the electricity.
Yeah.
So with in our country we have a lot of challenges, and with the most prominent one being unemployment. So that means people don't have money, and now we cannot spend so much money on electricity, whereas we're trying to maintain food, school, and what else and whatnot. So I'm not saying that I'm not advocating for the bypassing of electricity by any means, but I'm just pointing the factors that push the people to such resolutions. You see, so with money being a problem, people opt to bypass because they would like to save and to spend their money on other matters that are deemed as important. You see, so it is one of the contributing factors to why people bypass. But I'm sure Mr. JP would like to, give us more input on that.
Yeah, definitely, Mr. JP. Please, your thoughts, man, on the underlying factor of, why is it people opt for illegal connections? What is it? Why is it that we're seeing more people going to, connect illegally, when it comes to electricity?
Of course, more it's affordability. We're struggling as a country. The economy is down. There is a lot that is happening around the country. A lot of people are not working. We are jobless. But we're not condoning and saying that it's a good thing. But even though if you are trying yourself that you want to buy electricity, you will find yourself depressed when you look at your units each and every time. When you buy with a lot of money or small money, and so which leading people to do that, So it's tough out there, but let's hope that it can be reduced somewhere somehow, the way they are tackling it, and then so that we can be able to entity like Eskom can be able to maintain for us to have electricity, because whenever we have this bypassing problems, it causes a load reduction and a lot of problems in the area, and then the transformers are blasting because the things are connected illegally. There is a lot of maintenance that are taking over and all that, so it's causing problems. But what can you do for now? So we're hoping that in the near future there must be a way that they will go to the boardroom and try to expand units for us. Although there is this thing of POP, people that are not working, pensioners and all that, they get more units than us who are working and all that. So people, they need to be informed with such things and make sure that they maintain.
So they say illegal electricity connections, also known as electricity theft, are often done for various reasons. Some people may resort to illegal connections due to financial constraints, as they are unable to afford the cost of legal electricity supply. Others may do so out of convenience or due to dissatisfaction with the service provided by the official supplier. Additionally, in some cases, individuals or businesses may engage in illegal connections to avoid paying for the electricity they use, leading to significant revenue losses for utility companies. However, it's important to note that illegal connection pose serious safety hazards and can result to legal consequences, because they actually take it as and pose it as illegal theft. It's theft.
It is.
So now looking at what the executive was speaking about, Mr. Monde, there were questions that he was asked, that what are the progresses and what is it, the update that they can give to people to share some light. So he mentioned that it's been 8 months now without load shedding. That means Eskom has been dealing with people who are connected illegally in the grid, right? So it shows that now they're actually showing people that the more we deal with illegal connections, that's where everything, becomes okay. But now, what is the solution for that? As we know that there's this new system, these new prepaid meters, they're actually, installing, around, they are saying, over 400,000 users, they actually applied and they did what Eskom told them to do, so that is some progress. But now the problem comes with the remaining number, the people who are still, skeptical about Eskom, raising the prices of electricity, So do you think what Eskom is coming with these new prepaid smart meters is something that is going to solve the issues of load reduction and the issues of load shading?
Yes, I think the smart meters will, to some extent, prevent load shedding, right? But they will also make it hard for people to try and bypass the meters, which is a good thing. That means we're not going to be having people who are connected illegally, right? But then this thing of them raising the electric prices is going to be a bit of a challenge for them because, as residents, I'm not saying that they should do that, but we can come together and say, no, we're not going to allow you guys to come into our community and upgrade our meters if we're going to be paying this much for electricity. Yeah. So I think Eskom must come to at least a compromise to say, okay, look, we're not going to increase the electric prices. And then, in fact, there's this thing that they call FBE tokens, free basic electricity, where it's like free electricity, you see. Yeah. So instead of people manually applying for that, they should, like, at least, if maybe you buy electricity for 50 rands, you should get your FBE token of 15. It's like a subsidy, so that maybe your electricity can last longer, and therefore you won't have to be strained by electricity bills, right? Yeah. So if they can do that, then people also would stop being so reluctant when it comes to the upgrading, and they would also, give in to this change that is brought about by Eskom. So with that being said, I think these smart meters may bring about some positive change. And obviously, we know we don't want this load shedding and load reduction because it's negatively affecting people. We have people who rely on electricity, such as like diabetes patients who take their insulin and they have to be refrigerated at all times. Yeah. So when the load shedding hits, people stand at the risk of losing their lives because now if you inject yourself with not cold insulin, then that could have some dire health effects on you. Yeah. So therefore, load shedding is a no-no. Yeah. But then for us to cap this thing of load shedding, we also have to abide by the laws and not bypass our electricity. Yeah. So I think that's something that we can look forward to and ensure that, and that will ensure that we have less load shedding and more people who are connected legally to the electrical source.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, Mr. JP, like, what is your view? Looking at what Eskom is trying to do by coming up with the solutions that can, prevent the load reduction and load shading by, implementing this new system that involves these new prepaid meters. Because we know that Eskom is trying to work hand in hand with consumers. That the more the consumers buy, the more the system is becoming upgraded, and electricity is going to be supplied for longer years. But now, what is your view, with the solution that the Eskom is coming with these new prepaid meters?
Of course, no, there is a lot of issues around that, and then compliance is what we need as a country or as a big company or big entity like Eskom. So bear in mind that there are a lot of people that are owing electricity and municipality owing Eskom. They are owing billions. So of course they've been seeking solutions and answers into this. What transpired to what's going to happen in the next future? How are they going to deal with their client, and how are they going to take back their power as they used to be when these things of electricity started? So there are a lot of people that are being affected with this thing. Electricity and water now is the big basics that we normally use each and everyday life. Even if like they tell you that there is a load shedding, you feel like you're not functioning, because all of the things, of users, we most of the things we use electricity. It's like water. Water is life. So I think they are coming with a better solution because those smart meters, I think I've installed some of them in most cases around from September until to date. So it's something that they can monitor even if they are in the office. You understand? They can see that you're not buying electricity. How do you survive and all that? And they can even cut it from the office. They can easily temper it. You understand? So it shows that there is a follow up in that, and everybody is jumping into that. Even though there are a lot of people that are fighting that, they feel like they're being ripped off because of the money that they're paying. Because if we go back to a old system, there were a lot of estimations. You understand? You find that they check the area when they charge you. They say, "Oh, this is a location. Someone can pay 1,000 rand maybe a month." You understand? So they will charge you that forever and estimate while they are not getting readings and all that. So there was a lot of confusion, but I think it's coming with the solution. The only thing that after they've collected everything together, they must make sure that they go to the boardroom and look at the prices so that we can go down with petrol and and economy. You understand? What are the standard of living and all that? Because if they keep increasing the prices, we're going back to the bypassing, which is causing problems already. So they must look at that, and if they make it cheaper, everyone is willing to pay. Everyone is willing to start afresh. And the other thing, if they can scrap those millions, if you have an RDP house in a location, they say you owe 1.5 million of electricity. And how does that comes? Let me give you a scenario. This is how they work when it comes to municipality. When they send a technician to come and check your electricity, we find that you bypass. They charge you 29,000 per household as a municipality. It goes to your bill, and then the technicians give the report to municipality that you bypass. They charge you that. It goes to your bill, and then they come back again. They find you have bypassed again because you can't afford to pay that money. They charge you again. So a lot of household, they're owing like millions. It means they will never have electricity. Some of them, they even cut the cables. That's why there is nyoka nyoka coming from the neighbor. There is an extension that coming from there and there. There is a lot that is happening. So they need to start afresh and scrap the bills and start afresh with their people and see what's going on.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely hear what you say because, when with someone who is watching right now, they can have a very different view, because as much as we are seeing like the price hikes of electricity, every time, they are like they're just becoming worse. But now let us come to the underlying problem, because if we looking at the, how the grid was actually built from long time and also the substations that we have in our townships, you are looking at something that is required to power a certain household. But now, do you think that people they actually inquire about me adding more into what you are being given? Because I think we can argue that with Eskom, they know that these are the certain households that are here in South Africa and they are connected to the grid. And this is the amount of money that you are supposed to be getting, but they're not even getting half of that money. Hence, we have the municipality debts, that are occurring right now. But we know that if Eskom is looking at 10 households, right? And from those households, they're actually expecting 10 rand. That means they're going to be getting 100 rands in total, right? But now, with what is happening right now, they're seeing that they're not getting the money back, they're not getting the 100 rand, and they're getting less than 100 rand. But now, when they're looking at the grid, they're looking at those 10 households consuming more than what they're supposed to be getting.
Sure.
And on those households, you're getting that now it has grown to a point that maybe in one yard, over 6 to 7 people are consuming, So that is why we're experiencing price hikes. Because now, if I'm not getting money from the remaining people that I'm supposed to get money from, it means it's a loss. So I need to increase the prices for those who are paying, so that they can continue getting electricity.
Sure. Sure.
So now it is a war, not to say it's a war, but now it's a debate between the ones who are connected legally and the ones who are connected illegally. So that's where a lot of things are right now. But now, do you think that's the factor that Eskom is actually, the price hiking? It's happening due to, a lot of people connecting illegally, or there's some other reasons why, the prices are actually higher?
Well, I think that is the reason, Mr. Mo. You've touched on some very, very critical point of one household having more than 7 people consuming.
Yeah.
So it's like you have one house, right? Maybe
Yeah.
with like 7 rooms.
Yeah.
And then all those rooms are connected to one box. But like that house only pays. That's why you find a lot of people have bypassed, because now if I'm gonna be having 7 rooms getting electricity from my meter box, that means that whatever I buy is not gonna be sustained. Yes, they are paying rent, but I'm not gonna take all that money and put it into, hence I bypass, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's why Eskom is also increasing the prices, because now we're no longer looking at 10 houses per block, but maybe each house has like its own 5 rooms that are getting electricity from the meter box.
Yeah.
So it's like 25 or 30 houses now, and then we're only getting money for 10 houses.
Yeah.
Even less, you see. So that is the issue why Eskom is raising the prices. But also, I think the problem is also has to do with the internal fraud that is happening within Eskom. Remember, we were having issues of coal, having like knockoff coal because the original was what.
Yeah.
So I think because they've lost a lot of money due to that fraud, they're trying to regain some of the funds that have been lost, but now at the expense of the people. It was gonna be easy for us to complain if we were also innocent. But now we all have our hands dirty in this one.
Yeah.
And then a lot of people are gonna pay for crimes that they have not committed. Because I'm not saying that everyone has bypassed, but a lot of us have, and there's a few that haven't. And now they're also dealing with the consequences that we were supposed to face alone. But because now we are all in the same grade, that means we're all gonna face the same problem, whether you are buying or you're not buying. So that is one of the issues, or some of the issues that are causing the price hike when it comes to electricity. Yeah. So for them to fix it, as residents, man, a lot of us, like if you are my neighbor and I see that you're connected illegally, because we are black, how the motion of that black people don't snitch on each other. Yeah. It's only white men business that do that. Like we have this thing of turning a blind eye when we see someone doing misdeeds. Whereas, if I was to like talk to you about it and ask you to like, no, my guy, do the right thing, or we escalate it to the authorities, we wouldn't be having this problem. Yeah. But now, because we think us being black and loving each other means I have to turn a blind eye when you're doing illegal things, that's the problem. So we're gonna be having these issues because now Eskom is trying to solve, but even themselves, I'm sure they don't even know how to uproot this whole mess. Because now it's deeper. It's deeper. It's gonna take more than Eskom to do it, but also us as people, we have to stand up, be accountable, and be honest with ourselves and do the right thing. Yeah.
So coming to you, Mr. JP, do you think there's a different motive on why Eskom is raising the prices of electricity, the price hikes, or it is the one that we are actually talking about, that if all of the population or all of the people who are in the grid are not all, but half of the people are not paying, it means the ones that are paying are going to suffer. Do you think it's like that, or there is a different reason to that?
Clearly, more it's what it is. I mean, like those who are paying, they're paying for others as well, because of course Eskom, they are behind with their bills. So it's causing problems. But what I can emphasize most is, if Eskom can start with their workers, the system is rotten inside. You understand? Because we we were facing something like, even if the places that they don't have electricity, where they cut electricity because they have electricity illegally, the same people that are working for Eskom, they even sell them what do you call transformers. You understand? They come and install and make sure that they distribute electricity to people that are not legal. You understand? The back rooms are causing chaos as well, because most of the people that are having back rooms, they want to save, they want to benefit, and when electricity is it's expensive, you won't make profit. Let's be honest,
Yes.
because you'll be always buying electricity while you have tenants in your yard. So the moment you said water and electricity is included, it means people are already paid. You charge them, let's say, per head, you charge them 300. That I will charge you for electricity and water, and I must stand there. I'll be the one that has been controlling the electricity and water, while you know that you already bypassed the electricity. So it means those 300 are your benefit. So that's what's happening actually. So the same thing, that we have extended areas where we have a lot of shacks that they are not in the map of Eskom supplying electricity, but already some of the internal officers from Eskom, they are giving them electricity, which surpass the grid and give the grid problem. So I think they need to start there inside their yard and sweep and clean before they come to us. And they make sure that we pay a normal electricity, because we are citizens and we are fighting as well, and we have a lot of problems as well.
Yeah, definitely. I have a comment from Mixo Pelbaloi on YouTube saying landlords are also being affected by the electricity crisis, resulting in a surge of monthly rent increases to compensate for the rising costs. I think that's where we are, because when you ask the landlord that did you comply, with what Eskom is asking for in terms of consumption of electricity, that's where the problem begins.
Yeah.
Because these are the things and the consequences that we never thought of before we said, this is the amount of electricity that we want to consume, and also including this illegal electricity, illegal connections issue, because it's not really nice, in this developing country with a struggling economy, to be facing, your load shading and load reduction. It speaks a lot, as you mentioned, that there are people who are living, with chronic diseases that need electricity at all times. So I think with us, we also need to come back and also reason with our people, because we saw when they announced that the deadline of the programming of the key revision number is actually on the 24th of November. We saw that people panicked, and we saw that they never took it serious when it was firstly announced, around March and April, So it's those things that how do you actually get the information to people out there and make them understand, what causes the price hike, what causes, everything that includes the power supply to the households. And when it comes to your price hikes, the percentages that contribute to the supplying of electricity to different households. It's things that need to be break down to people so that they can really understand where is it coming from. Because we know that we still do not understand, when it comes to the units. Why am I getting this units when I'm buying
This much money.
this much with this much money? So it is something that when a question is asked that do people really know the information of you using so much electricity? Is it education that has been being given to people over time, or it's something that we are seeing now because the turbines, are starting to break, the power plants are starting to malfunction. Is it the problem? Is it the Eskom's problem, or is it the people's problem not to understand that if I use so much electricity, this can cause this? Where do you think the problem is? Is it the people, or is it Eskom not doing enough to get the information to people?
I feel like both parties are responsible for their role. So Eskom, yes, it has to deal with its management, ensuring that everybody does what they're supposed to do and there's no fraud and corruption within Eskom. And then also the consumers, they also have to understand that if I'm gonna bypass electricity, I am causing troubles for the people who are working at Eskom, because now the grid is not gonna function like it should, because it's having some load that it was not designed for. You see, so we all have a problem, both customers and both the providers of electricity. And it's not going to be solved by one party doing their part, whereas the other one is still not playing their part. Because if Eskom goes on and fixes all the malfunctioning and failing power plants, and then it leaves us like we are, they're going to have the same problems in the near future. The plants are going to fail because the issue is not the plants. Yes, of course, the plants do need to be serviced and they do need to be upgraded as time goes, right? But also the people, they have to ensure that whenever you have an extra load, you have to upgrade your meters. You have to upgrade your circuit boards. So that thing is, in our neighborhoods, we have transformers, right? So if maybe your household is using more electricity than it should, it is going to have effects on the transformer. Maybe the fuse is going to burn, or maybe the transformer is going to explode. You see, so if it doesn't, if it can affect the transformer, it means it also affects the grid at the power plant. Therefore, what we do has an effect what we do has an effect on who is supplying us with electricity. So as much as we complain about load shedding, load reduction, but we have to understand that we are also playing a role that is, pushing to these things happening. So if we're to do the right thing, we would not have to face these problems. So it's a matter of all of us, both parties, the Eskom and the people, to do the right thing together and have a free-flowing, smooth-going electricity supply.
Meeting each other halfway.
So,
on your side, Mr. JP, I think it's something that, we have always been discussing, about the information given to people about what is happening. And whose side or which party does the responsibility lies onto, the most? So for you, do you think, Eskom is not doing so much, to give people information about what is happening with the grid and everything that people need to know about the consumption of electricity? Or, the people are not doing enough to go out and find out more information about why are we actually experiencing load shedding and load reduction?
I think it takes both parties, to participate. It's unfortunately that both parties lost interest when it comes to these issues. More especially Eskom, olden days, they used to make time and come to the community, teach about electricity, how it works, how it comes from the grid and coming to people. So those kind of things, it's no longer happening because of corruptions and the way the government runs things, So both parties lose interest. Eskom is a big entity, supposed to run programs even in the communities. We're supposed to have bursaries. We're supposed to have students that are coming that are being paid for from the communities with Eskom. Those kind of programs are not happening anymore because Eskom, they always owed money. People, they are not participating as well. Eskom is a big entity to a level that it was contributing a lot in the economy. So it really goes back and affects each and every individual when it comes to that. So there is a lot of things that are not going right. It's communities versus Eskom.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
So if you see your neighbor bypassing and then nothing is happening, what are you gonna do next? Are you gonna die alone? You're gonna bypass as well. So it's one of those things. So if they can implement a lot of programs and start afresh the way they're doing now with the customers and teach a lot of them what's going to happen and what's really happening in our country. A lot of survey, there is a lot of money that when we're paying electricity, that's supposed to come back to our communities.
Yeah.
So, but there is no one that is caring about that anymore. Understand? It's survival of the fittest, if I can say.
Yeah. Still in conversation about Eskom warning the public against the illegal electricity. We would want to hear from you if you're watching. We are share online on each and every social media platform. So please do make sure that you leave down your comment and tell us what do you think is the underlying factor for people to connect illegally when it comes to electricity. So right now we're going to take a short break, and then when we come back, we're going to be looking at Eskom pointing fingers, some of their staff that are helping community members and some of the citizens to actually connect illegally. We want to know why is that happening. Is it because maybe they see that Eskom is being unfair on people, by the price hikes and everything? But we want to hear from you when you come back from the break. So please stay with us as you're taking a short break, and then when we come back, we're going to be discussing those headlines.
You're listening to Share Radio, the best online visual radio station in town. Tune in now and enjoy the best music from around the block. This is Share Radio.
Yo, what's good? Y'all listening to Share Radio, where we give you nice shows with a little bit of go in it, and where we promote upcoming artists, music, and more. If you want to share the experience with us or want us to promote your music, go to www.shareonline.co.za or WhatsApp us on 061 524 775.
Hey, my friends, this is your boy Creative Scatley, your favorite TikToker. Please catch Share Online Monday to Friday weekdays on all social media platforms.
Bengeza kwaye phuhlisa ishishini lakho nathi apha eShare Online. Sebenzisa ezinkcukacha zilandelayo ukusifumana: 078 281 0681 okanye usithumelele email ku ads@shareonline.co.za.
Depression and suicide are serious issues that affect many people. If you're feeling alone or hopeless, know that you are not alone. There are people who care about you and want to help. If you're struggling with depression or suicidal thoughts, there are resources available to help you. The South African Depression and Anxiety Group offers a 24-hour toll-free emergency helpline for suicide crisis support. Call them on 0800 567 567. Remember, you're not alone. There is hope, and help is available.
You know you want to join the Creative Corner every Tuesday, where we vibe with the coolest creators.
But nah, you are too busy catching up on Umkosi, celebrity news, and the headliners on the Trusted Talk Wednesdays at 2 p.m.
Embrace your feminine side with the ladies of Sisterhood Thursdays at 11 a.m. talking about everything women go through.
Join Amachita, Amahrotmane, the broskies of Sotra, fixing the country, one topic at a time. Thursdays at 2 p.m.
Get ready to spice up your sex life on the 8th hour every Thursday at 8 p.m. where we get down and dirty with the hottest topics. It's all things sex.
Start the weekend early with the feel-good vibes of Kasi Lifestyle Show Fridays at 2 p.m. Put on your dancing shoes, feel the music, and connect with the best artist Mzansi has to offer.
And if you're still not satisfied, you can learn a thing or two about living wild, young, and free with Ama 2K Saturdays at 11 a.m. a.m.
And for all you bookworms, relax your Saturday with On Writing at 2 p.m., where you can learn from the best writers and storytellers.
All this and more on Share Radio, the place to be.
Stay informed with the latest news on Mzansi affairs every Tuesday at Share Radio, brought to you by Share Online. This is the time.
24 minutes past 11, and you're still watching Mzansi Affairs with me, Mweketi Maimane, joined by Mr. Itumeleng right here in studio, and over the call we have Mr. Jabulani. Please do make sure that you join us on our social media platforms. We are Share Online on each and every social media platform, and you can also leave down your comment because we are live right now on TikTok, Facebook, and also YouTube. So please tell us what do you really think as we are discussing our headlines for today, which involves Eskom warning to the public against the illegal connections that are causing load reduction and load shedding. What do you think is the underlying factor for people to consider, the illegal connection way? And now we're going to be looking at, Eskom pointing fingers at their staffs and their employees to allowing consumers to bridge electricity and to connect illegally. We also want to hear from you. But before we continue, I have a comment from Refugee Ratsekhanso saying, now this is how they bring load shedding back. We know that load shedding is something that Eskom is trying to show us that, if you don't comply with what we are telling you, these are the consequences that you're going to face. So it's something that whatever that they are bringing, we have to abide by it. So Eskom is pointing fingers at its own employees for allowing consumers to bridge their electricity and connect illegally. Monde Bala, the utility group executive for distribution, claims when they confront customers about their unlawful connections, they are frequently told Eskom staff assist them in doing so. So that's why I asked, before we started. When we started, I asked, how true is this? That it's Eskom people who are, helping people, to do this illegal connection thing. But now we need to look at why are they doing it? It's something that we need to discuss right now. So I just want to know from you, gentlemen, because for me personally, I feel like they are creating these problems so that more work can be there for them. Because now if we have people who are paying and everything is running smoothly, that means there's no work for us. We are not going to be deployed. We are not going to, fix, where we are supposed to fix and speak to the consumers and customers and ask what is going on. On my side, I really think the underlying factor is because, they want more work on their side, because more illegal connections means them coming to solve the problem and the consumer speaking to them about, what's a way forward.
Sure.
I don't know about you, gentlemen. What do you really think?
Yes, Mr. Mo. So I do agree with you. It is for reasons such as creating more work, but money, So thing is, if I come as a Eskom technician and I bridge for you, I'm gonna get something. And remember, if we have a whole community of people who don't wanna pay electricity and they're willing to give a guy 300, 400 for bribing, for bypassing. That means if I do it for you, you will tell your neighbor will tell their neighbor tells their neighbor, and that's more money for me in the pocket. You see. But also touching on the part of you saying that they don't wanna have everything smooth flowing as if. Besides, you asked the question on the previous segment of whether is this. Is it the customers or is it Eskom or is it some underlying factor that we don't know about? Yeah. But I just remembered right now, what happened to SAA? It was deemed as a failing organization, a failing company, right?
Yeah.
A failing government state-owned company. So they privatized it, right? So if you like you were following the politics in South Africa for like maybe the past few years, I'm sure you've picked up on the point whereby they wanted to privatize Eskom.
Yeah.
So this thing of load shedding, it sort of came to us like sorry for stepping off the track here, but it sort of like came across as a sabotage. That if we can sabotage Eskom and deem it as a failing state, then maybe we can convert it into a private company. Then they can generate all these profits, because there's a lot of money in supplying electricity, and the people who have money have figured ways in which if they can own Eskom, they've already have estimates of how much money they can make, So it's all about money, Mr. Mo. But answering your question, getting back to your question, these technicians, I feel like they're doing it for their own benefit, financially also. And also they're helping their committee members. Because yes, I'm gonna help you to bypass, but at least you're gonna give me something. But I'm not saying that they're doing it to help the people. No, they're doing it for themselves. Because if I'm gonna get someone to come and bypass the meter box for me, I'm gonna pay them. And once I've done it, I'm gonna talk to my friend Mo and say, hey, you're having issues with electricity. Come on, man. I know a guy, and then more money for that guy and more happy clients for him, but which is messing up the power grid. So it's sad. No, it's funny, but it's also sad. So
true. Mr. JP, on your side, what do you think they are doing it for?
I can agree more with it. It's clear, and then I think you state a lot of facts and point when it comes to these issues that we're discussing here. These technicians, they are doing for themselves to benefit, but corruption is started with the government, and Eskom is a government entity, and when you talk about the sabotage, we knew what transpired as well and what was happening and what these private sectors wanted to do with Eskom, because it's a big entity. Eskom is supplying the whole of Africa with electricity. So it's a multi-billion company. I mean, like, it's a big thing. So they knew that if they take over, they are no longer going to suffer generation to generation. So it's all about stealing in government entities, jumping to municipalities. You understand? So in my case, on my side, a little information that I can share is we in municipality level, we have contractors. I'm one of them. I'm a technician, I'm a contractor. So basically what they do, they hire a companies like maybe 10 to help the permanent workers through electricity departments and all that. So you really understand that if we go to a kasi where we talk same language and all that, ngicela uncedise mntanami ugesi uyadura. Ayikho into singayenza, and then there is a plan. Even white people, business owners and all that, they always need a plan. You understand? And a technician is the only one that have a plan, because we understand the system better than everyone. These people, they're asking, what they ask. And then we even give them information, how are we gonna do it? For them not to be having problems and all that. Even though some guys are careless and all that, it causes confusion and it's out there. You understand?
Yeah.
So that's how it happens. So it's all about consumers that are asking for help because they are spending a lot of money. They are no longer, if they are in business, they are no longer seeing the profit. You understand? So once they touch base on electricity, they will see the profit, because most of the money goes to electricity, as business owners. So it's what's happening. and people are not working anymore. Because, you understand? Kunendlala, and then you're always looking at your meter box, sell it 2 units.
Ish.
What can you do with that?
Ish.
It's
Yeah.
stressing.
Yeah.
Until someone said, now, man, we can do this. You understand? So it's just that people being careless. And then now it's all over. Like a lot of people from Eskom, they came with the plans and teach us. As technicians, there is a what we call like a discussion before we start working. And we discuss whatever that we're coming across when we go to the field. So that's how it's born, actually. So I think they need to sweep inside,
Yeah.
and then stop corruption, and then we'll win at the end of the day.
Yeah, true. Because the reason we're looking at approving what Eskom is saying about their staff member is that obviously you would ask yourself that, okay, if people are connecting illegally and connecting transformers illegally, who is doing it for them? Because if you are the one who has built this thing and you're the only one who knows how to fix it whenever it's malfunctioning, and then it happens that some conversations and negotiations are made on the side, the next thing this thing is being it's fixed, so it speaks a lot that as much as we are seeing these kind of comments of people from Eskom helping, because it goes back to the disused saga situation where they took out 60 of illegal transformers, and even the people who were there, they were not even concerned, because when the reporter was there and asking that so since Eskom is here and taking over the situation, what are you guys going to do? One of the citizens was like it's fine. We know that we're going to pay, and then we'll have a transformer in the next 2 weeks. So it shows that even when they were asked where these transformers from, they said we speak with guys from Eskom. We buy these transformers from them,
Eskom,
and then they come and they install those transformers.
And they buy them at a discount.
You see, so we're looking at a very huge problem here, because it's a number of people who are doing these things, and no consequences are being done. There are no, and also we have what do you call this thing in here? Because we call it easy nyonga nyonga. The electricity. Somewhere, someone has the machine, to
produce
tokens. Yes, the tokens, so people buy with less prices,
more units.
Yes, it's those things that we need to look at. Why would somebody do this? Why would somebody sell so much electricity
for so little money?
So it's those questions that we need to ask. But as we know that the Eskom, says that the KRN, which is the K revision number prepaid meter rollover project, is becoming successful, with consumer base increasing to more than 7 million and around 400,000 zero buyers becoming paying customers. So the power utility said that all users who went out and bought electricity experienced the issues before deadline can be helped. This comes after Eskom set a deadline on Sunday 24th November, starting off with a customer base of 6.91 million prepaid customers. Eskom said all customers have been converted to KRN2. It is said a data cleaning exercise fully updated the incomplete details of 341,000 customers to bring Eskom's base to 7.25 million. So as of 24 November, which has passed, approximately 5.5 million customers, which included the 400,000 zero buyers who have become paying customers, have successfully rolled over and are transacting on KRN2. KRN2, it's still on its way. So they requested that the customers do what is right by Friday, the 30th of December. by visiting their nearest Eskom site, which is today. It's the 10th. So by Friday, they require people to go to Eskom and visit the site to inquire about, whatever that's happening. If you don't have a meter box, it's something that you need to do. But it's something that, as a community members, we need to be looking at, making sure that our houses are powered and we have electricity, for as much as we can, and work together into making sure that electricity is being supplied to our households. So without wasting any time, because time is not on our side, developing stories on the Stilfontein is that 6 more illegal miners surface at the disused mine in Stilfontein. 6 more illegal miners are actually all of them. They're Mozambican nationals. Police say more than 1,400 miners have surfaced so far, with 8 bodies retrieved since the operation began. An unknown number of illegal miners remain underground. They have sent up letters asking for food, medication, and rescue for the ones who are actually sick. So they say this brings a total number of Zamazamas who have emerged from underground since the rescue operation began on 18 August to nearly 1,387. So the Zamazamas who fled from Basotho men at Shaft 11, where they had worked since August, were arrested when they emerged. And the police spokesperson Brigadier Sebata Mohwabone said Vala Umkoti operation still continues. The illegal miners are all Mozambican foreign nationals and are currently being processed. 8 dead bodies have been retrieved from one of the disused shafts since November. And we're speaking about the task team, a special task team established by Police Minister Senzo Mchunu is conducting an operation to remove illegal miners from the mine in Stilfontein in a bid to tackle the scourge of illegal mining plaguing the country. The miners had reportedly been stuck for weeks in the 2-kilometer deep shaft, while some estimates suggest that there are more than 4,000 illegal miners underground. Police have disputed the figure, saying their intelligence indicates only hundreds. So, as much as we're speaking about this each and every week, coming back to it, what do you think it's the main factor for them to not come out?
So, if it was South African criminals, they know that they would have to face the South African law, right? They would be in our prisons and whatnot. So we know that other countries, man, the prisons that side are not as soft as our justice system this side. So imagine if these Mozambican miners or the Basotos, when they come out from the shafts, the thing is we're gonna take them in for processing, but then later for them to be deported.
Yeah.
And then now I think the worry is that when they come out the shafts as criminals and they get deported as criminals, that means they're gonna have to go and serve time in their homelands, right?
Yeah.
So we know how crime gets dealt with in such countries, because if you go to Lesotho, I'm sure you won't have such unlawlessness in their country, because the law is very strict there, and they deal with criminals very harshly. So some of them, clearly they would rather die in the hole than to resurface and get deported to their homelands and go serve prison time there. So I think that's one of the things of being the like them not coming out. They're afraid of being deported and go get imprisoned in their homelands. And then number 2 is that when they come out, remember that they were doing illegal mines, so maybe they may have something that they found underground.
Yeah.
And then now if they get arrested, that means they stand to lose whatever gold or diamond that they found there. And then someone else is gonna claim that. So I think that's, in fact, it should be like the number 1 reason.
Yeah.
Because if they went there to mine and they got the gold, the diamond, or whatever it is they found down there, like they have a fortune
Yeah.
So now if you have all this fortune in your hands and there's police waiting for you up there, are you gonna go there and surrender?
Give it up, my friend.
So some of them would choose not to, because these people, they buy big cars, man. Very big cars. They live a lavish life of these illegal activities.
Yeah.
And remember that they have like kingpins who are waiting for them to come and deliver.
Yeah.
Because now there's money waiting, there's money that's being required.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of forces, there's a lot of factors, that are pushing these guys to stay in the hole. Sometimes we may look at it as if like, why don't you just come out and live, man, and breathe fresh air and stop dying down there? But there's more to it than meets the eye.
Yeah.
So that's my 2 cents, Mr. Mo.
Yeah, definitely. Mr. JP, on your side, what do you think is keeping the, illegal miners down there in the Stilfontein shaft as we're speaking, as they're still identifying that these people are Mozambican nationals. So what do you think is the main factor that's keeping them down there in the shaft?
I think there is a lot that is transpired more. Unfortunately enough, last week I met one of the brother that coming from Mozambique at the place called Masika. I think he said Masika and all that, So we happened to have a conversation about what's really happening there. So the only thing that he told me and what's really happening about these things, I think that place it's in between the border of Mozambique and Zimbabwe. So you see, and the brother is around the country now. So I was asking him that what's really happening. He said like, oh no, these things goes with number. So there are a lot of brothers that are coming in the country. They will still come. That's why you may find that they say the Operation Valem Godi and all that. And the only thing now is happening, there are other people that are waiting. They are in the waiting list to go down there and work. You understand? So it's a lot. But all in all, is that they want money. They are talking about like if like they talk about the kilos and all that. It's about like 1,100 per kilo. So, and when they are measuring the gold and all that, so you can tell with whatever that they're getting inside there, they manage to make a lot of money at the end of the day, and it's easy for them because they've been doing that for long. So you might say that there is people that are getting in, there are people that are getting out. So few areas that are police that are watching, but it will take long, remember, and the government and the system, and there are a lot of people that are benefiting in there. So there is a whole lot of confusion, but let's see what's going to happen at the end of the day.
Yeah, definitely. It is something that we're still looking at, the developing stories of what is happening. So last week, the Northwest Department of Social Development confirmed that 96 undocumented children were among the illegal miners arrested and detained in Kuma in Stilfontein. The department said that most of the illegal miners are believed to be from the Southern African Development Community, which is the SADC countries, including Mozambique, Namibia, Zimbabwe, and Lesotho. Margaret Zulu of the Save Children South Africa expressed concern over the possibility that the children were trafficked. The situation highlighted the systemic failure that allows such exploitation to occur. It is deeply concerning that children end up in these mines without detection, despite the presence of authorities. This exploitation suggests the involvement of syndicates. She told the reporters the organization is providing cultural mediation interpretation services for the children. This thing is actually, as much as we see, that the police have come in, to intervene on this matter. Mm-hmm. But now, including children, as young as 13-year-old, it shows that whatever that they're doing right there, is a child labor, and it can be, classified and categorized as, kidnapping, so it is some of the things that when we look at this whole situation, that why is there any force that is being used? Because you can't, be overpowered by people, who are from the other nations, because they know that they are on the wrong. So whatever that they next action that they're going to do, it's going to make things worse from now on. So why are we not seeing so much power? Because as much as we're speaking about it, that you need people who deal, with, the special people who can, inspect if it is safe to go underground and actually detain the people who are underground. But as of right now, we are not seeing anything. But we know that these people, somewhere, somehow, whoever who has been, resurfaced, they are getting the information out there. How? But we know that these people are powerful. As much as they say they have guns down there in which they are kidnapping people and, holding people against their own will to do their job. So I think it's time for, bold move, especially from the defense force, and the task team that are actually deployed to be there. Because something that is very huge can happen from that situation in it. And as much as you're saying, they're looking at the response that the officers and the police are actually giving. Because if I see that, your police force is weak, it means now we are going to come back more stronger and make sure that we exploit the country. But now we need to speak about the involvement of, people making sure that this thing doesn't escalate. How do we actually make sure of that? How do we make sure that, people don't come and actually, unyatsa the law that we have? How do we make sure that happens?
Okay.
I think more it's easy, this thing. We just need to deploy. We have soldiers in the country. We have police force that are not really working as much as it's supposed to be. You understand? So the only factor that I'll say that if we can give it attention, a special attention as a country, is something that we can really win. If we deploy soldiers and then we deploy more forces and they go there and they dig deep and they force everyone. It has to be, if it's a war, it has to be a war. You understand? So the problem is one thing that we can say that because we are just concerned citizens, but those who are benefiting, they won't allow that. It becoming a problem. So there is a glitch in between concerned citizens and the people that are benefiting.
Yeah, I agree with Mr. JP. But also, let's not forget that even if we can deploy soldiers or police, these people work under a certain scope. There's policies in which they operate by. So I think that is what is making these other foreigners take advantage of our country, because they know that our policies are constraining us in a way that people can do as they please, and we cannot act or we cannot react to such actions because we have policies in place. For example, criminals have rights, right?
Yeah.
So our own criminals have rights. So we cannot do anything harsh to our criminals, as we saw. Thabo Bester was talking about how we are treating him and whatnot. Where else he's a criminal who has done heinous crimes, right?
Yeah.
So now we have criminals from other countries.
Yeah.
Remember that as South Africa, sometimes we like to take this diplomatic stance in which we have to consider what the countries are gonna think of us and whatnot, and what they're gonna say when we mistreat their people, right? So now it's more like, Mr. Mo, you have your son coming into my house and your son is misbehaving. And now I cannot discipline your child like I discipline my children, because I'm afraid that I'm going to have an issue with you.
Yeah.
But Mr. Mo, if your child comes to my house and if your child comes into my house and misbehaves, he's within my rights. He's within my my premises, and I must do to him what I do to my people when they misbehave. And then if you have a problem, I think that's something I should face when it happens. So now we should not be anxious about how we can deal with these issues because we are afraid that there are people from the homelands how they're gonna react. No, like, dude, we have to deal with them. So these things of policies are working against us. These things of court, we don't know who the judge is and what's his stance in this matter. He comes in here and orders us not to be lenient. We cannot be lenient, man. This leniency thing is the one that's causing us problems in our country. You know, so Operation Volume Code. But you know what the issue is again? This thing of publicizing everything. We have these journalists and these tabloids running around. It's a crime scene. You know, the Stilfontein is a crime scene. And therefore, we cannot be... What if these guys come out with guns and a bullet starts flying? True. And then we're going to be blamed also as SAPS that we let people die where else we were there. We're not doing our job. So they should keep all these tabloids and what do you call these guys, these news people? Journalists. They should keep all these journalists away, man, far away from the crime scene. And we should stop covering this thing because even media, people have like a lot of opinions that they coming up with, and the more we give them attention, the more we lose sight on the matter. So what we should do is handle this internally and discreetly. So, you know, we should not be publicizing it and seeking public opinion. The public are not the protectors of the communities. We have people who are appointed for that, like a police. That guy went to training and was appointed as a police of South Africa. So now when he's doing his job, we don't want a journalist here questioning how we do. We should like do what we feel like it is within our powers. You see. So if we can stop this thing of publicizing criminals and looking for public opinion on such matters, then we would be good. It is okay to inform people about what's going on, but now we should not let the people dictate on how we do our job. Because as soon as now we inform people and they have their upper hand on us, they run to the courts and the judge starts giving out interim court orders. We've lost the fight. So the police was supposed to be the one with the upper hand and calling all the shots, not the court. What does the court have to do with this? If I'm chasing a criminal as a police officer, do I have to get permission from the court to apprehend or to use force? No. I'm trained. If a situation is in this level, I have to also escalate, or I have to react in a way that is gonna save me. Okay, or ensure that the mission has been successfully done. So we cannot busy waiting for public opinion or court interims or publicizing this whole thing. This thing has been dragging too long. They should have just said, okay, we have a situation. Let the people know we have a situation. We have Zamazamas down there. We're going to do our best to make sure that they come out and we deal with them. Now they're sending letters. They're sending letters.
Letters of demand.
Demanding water, food. They're saying meat, my guy, meat. They don't have the privilege. Like, they cannot be. So I think now they've seen, like they've seen our cards. So now they are exploiting our weaknesses. Because this is a weakness. If we can be negotiating with such people, we are slimele, and we cannot allow this. So this thing of being lenient and being diplomatic, it's for the president. Let's do what we do, and then the president will write a letter and apologize if they have to. We have no choice.
Yeah, true, because force is what's needed that we as also South Africans, we can understand, what happens when you do not abide by the law that's being set. But other than that, thank you so much to those who stayed with us. Please do make sure that you keep up with the conversation. The conversation does not only end here, as we were speaking about the Eskom's warning about the public, when it comes to illegal electricity. electricity. So the information that is out there, do make sure that you visit Eskom's website to know about the updates on what is happening on the KRN2, which is the key revision number that a lot of people need to do. And when it comes to illegal connections, it's something that you have to do on this Friday, as Eskom has, told people to come by and inquire about what do they need in order for them to be assisted with what they need. But other than that, gentlemen, thank you so much for being here with me.
Thank you for having us, Mr. Mo. Thank you, South Africa, for staying with us on the show. Yeah, till we meet again.
Definitely. Mr. JP, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much, Mo. Thank you very much, Itu. I hope we're going to engage next week. Keep well, guys. Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We are shared online on each and every social media platform, and you're watching Mzansi Affairs. Please do make sure that you keep up with the conversation and by subscribing on all our social media platforms. Follow and subscribe to the social media platform. Till we meet again, stay safe.
You know you want to join the Creative Corner every Tuesday, where we vibe with the coolest creators.
But nah, you are too busy catching up on Umkosi, celebrity news, and the headliners on the Trusted Talk Wednesdays at 2 p.m.
Embrace your feminine side with the ladies of Sisterhood Thursdays at 11 a.m. talking about everything women go through.
Join Amachita, Amahrotmani, the broskies of Sotra, fixing the country, one topic at a time. Thursdays at 2 p.m.
Get ready to spice up your sex life on the 8th hour every Thursday at 8 p.m. where we get down and dirty with the hottest topics. It's all things sex.
Start the weekend early with the feel-good vibes of Kasi Lifestyle Show Fridays at 2 p.m. Put on your dancing shoes, feel the music, and connect with the best artist Mzansi has to offer.
And if you're still not satisfied, you can learn a thing or two about living wild, young, and free with Ama2K Saturdays at 11 a.m.
And for all you bookworms, relax your Saturday with On Writing at 2 p.m. where you can learn place to be.